So I promised that I would do more research into the Jew tunnels, and more information has come to light about the Jew tunnels. Those of you who follow us at Due Dissidence, you know we are men of our words. We may be wrong a lot of the time, but we're honestly wrong. So this is my epic. This is my Lawrence of Arabia on Jew tunnels. Okay, this is my David McLean interpretation of this event. All right,
just making sure. Hold on, I'm making sure there's a DoorDash shift available tomorrow. I have to book my delivery work.
It's okay. We're on Rumble. Blood libel is fine here. All right. So Brooklyn synagogue tunneler says excavation was done to send message to geezers to expand crowded holy sites. So this is more information has come out. New York Post has this as an exclusive interview with one of the young tunnelers. And they wrote it in their signature flippant style using a lot of Yiddish slang. They didn't dig being cramped, and a lot of that too. A lot of punning. The band of rogue Orthodox Jews who dug New York City's most bizarre tunnel did so to send a message to geezers in their sect that they needed more room to pray. One of the excavators exclusively told the Post.
Are they Cockneys? Oh, it's geezers.
These old geezers won't let us in the mikvah.
Gotta expand.
By the way, program note, a lot of people pointed out that there are mikvahs for men. I did not know that. I told you it kicked me out of Hebrew school when I was 9. I didn't get to that part. So a male mikvah is for before the high holy days, and sometimes before sex, which I'm sure
wash your balls.
Women appreciate. I mean, that's good. That's a considerate ritual.
I think you should use your own bathing apparatus and not a communal one.
They have a loofah in there. And make it all nice and smooth. The 30-year-old who requested anonymity for fear of legal consequences said he and at least 50 like-minded members of the Chabad Lubavitch Hasidic movement took to shoveling as a brazen statement to their community's elders to get off their tuchuses and expand the sanctuary at their Crown Heights headquarters. That's asses.
A strange way to
the
state
uninitiated.
Yeah.
We were sick and tired of being stuck in a cramped synagogue that could take 15 minutes to leave during the high holy services, said the member whose family has been praying at the synagogue at 770 Eastern Parkway for generations. The point was to start an initiative on our own, and then we put the old geezers in a spot where they could take the initiative and go ahead to complete the expansion, he added. The Chabad group, made up mostly of teens and 20-somethings, began planning their tunnel excavation. Tunnel excavation. This writer had a ball with this. As early as 2020, driven by a mix of boredom and desire to fulfill what they believe was a goal by the late Lubavitcher Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson to expand the synagogue, he said. Now understand, there is a subsect within Chabad, it's not the mainstream, that believes he was the Messiah.
Build a tunnel.
Build a tunnel. That was his last words there. Schneerson died in 1994. He said rosebud in Yiddish, but they couldn't translate it. But today, the renowned holy site's size has remained unchanged, leaving congregants packed like a tin of smoked kippers. The digger kvetched, explaining, I kind of like this writer, explaining that the room can comfortably hold a few hundred people, but can swell to thousands trying to squeeze in during the high holidays. You can't fit a broomstick in there, he said. Imagine an emergency and everyone running. I don't want to think what can happen. Rabbi Mati Seligson, a Chabad spokesperson, bashed the radical members' claim that he and other diggers represented a movement in Chabad. There is no righteous justification, theological or otherwise, for the violent and reckless behavior of these young agitators, Seligson told the Post, calling any attempt to link their underground activity with the wishes of the Rebbe an abomination. This is a small group of rogue and frankly unwell youths who in their delusion demolished a potentially load-bearing wall, desecrated a synagogue, and caused an enormous amount of pain and damage. Donations covered the group's tools as well as other necessities like support beams, while Hasidic professional contractors were brought in to ensure the excavation was done safely, the digger said.
How did they do this without them knowing right away? I mean, they got a lot done on the tunnel.
I mean...
How in secret do you do that?
No, but there were court cases. There were court cases like they were arguing that they had the legal right to do this, and this actually, the geezers sued in court. And this whole riot started because they won in court and they were going to fill it in with cement. So it wasn't the Great Escape. It wasn't.
I thought they just walked in on a giant tunnel.
No, there was some kind of dispute between different sects, and they had to take it to court to decide who had the right to make this decision. I looked at this in many different sources, and I didn't see anything to contradict that.
Yeah.
The Talmudic tunnelers managed to hollow out 40 feet over 3.5 years, but in November, the group hired Spanish-speaking migrants to finish the job, the 30-year-old said.
Yeah.
The migrants were brought in to give the project a punt, he said, admitting that they worked they worked harder and more frequently than the Chabad men, but also made more noise, which ultimately tipped off the neighbors and synagogue elders.
Well, that's the thing.
So I guess that's when they sued to get it shut down when they found out about it. All right, so this is where a lot of what, frankly, our conspiracy theories are coming from. So people saw a mattress with a stain on it and immediately interpreted it as a bloody mattress.
Have you ever seen a used mattress without a stain?
Exactly, man.
I don't know how this is,
and it's not even the only mattress, and it's a mattress that's right on the other side of the wall. So clearly they were using it as some kind of soundproofing. So if you actually watch the video rather than just a still image of this, you can see, look, it's right there on the other side of the wall. It is not, if you're using some kind of
I didn't think that was anything.
Look, they got another one there. All right, if you're using these mattresses to molest kids, you're probably not going to have it right on the other side of the wall where anybody can hear what you're doing.
That's not enough. I mean, I've never seen an old mattress that look like, I've never said, hey, pick up people take couches and you shouldn't do that.
Well, yeah, people immediately.
A mattress, you don't do that.
It makes a good story. So the other thing people got into was this high chair. Okay, so first of all, this, from what I can see, this is not even the tunnels. This is the basement. Look at the tiles. They're not going to be tiling these tunnels. So they got shit in a basement.
Right.
Do you see a bunch of high chairs lined up? Like they're running some kind of an assembly line here.
With chains on them.
Yeah, right. They got a fucking broken high chair in a basement. Like it's not, but people saw that. They saw the mattress and, oh my God, it's okay. So something that a lot of people will direct you to who are going to make this connection is this article.
Oh, right.
This is from Vice in 2013, the child rape assembly line. Rabbi Nachum Rosenberg, who is 63 with a long gray beard, recently sat down with me to explain what he described as a child rape assembly line among sects of fundamentalist Jews. Okay, so something, and a lot of people mentioned the redacted piece, which I don't feel they were being deceptive. I feel they were ignorant.
Right.
So, look, what this deals with are the Satmar Hasids. It's a completely different sect. Not only are they a completely different sect, they hate each other.
Why?
Because the Satmars, they're like the Amish. Basically, they just want to be unto themselves.
Buttons are technology.
They don't.
English.
They're not the ones you see drive. Well, not in that sense, but they keep to themselves. They don't do any outreach. They're not interested. If you don't practice like them, you're not Jewish.
Right.
That's it. They're on their own.
Right.
They're not the ones you see driving around with the mitzvah tank trying to get Jews to pray. That's the Chabad.
Cars for Kids is Chabad, is it not?
What's that?
Cars for Kids. Remember? 1877 Cars for Kids. Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
I'm pretty sure. It's out of Lakewood, New Jersey. Yeah.
Okay, so this article is about a completely different sect. So to say because of this, you're making a connection to that, that's like saying, well, this is a Lutheran church and this is a Methodist church, And I heard this about the Lutheran Church, so that must be the case of the Methodist Church because they're both Protestants, right? It's completely different, separate sects. And I don't doubt the stories that are being told in this article. I'm not questioning
not related
it.
to the mattress
It's not related to this group at all. All right.
By the way, without all that, without the tunnels, every insular group where nobody's looking in, and
I'm getting to that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I looked at a lot of comments, and a lot of these comments in regards to the first Jew tunnel thing, not most of them, but a lot of people definitely have some ignorant anti-Semitic ideas.
I thought they were ninjas.
Where you thought what?
I thought they were literally ninjas.
Yeah. Where they honed in on this idea, which is the blood libel idea, the Jews rape children or they kidnap children.
I thought they make them into matzah.
That's they use the blood in the matzah. Yeah. But it's a variation on that. But it really calls to mind the saying, anti-Semitism is socialism for stupid people, because when you look at the world, to think that this is a Jewish phenomena and not, as you say, a phenomena that happens whenever you get these closed religious sects with no accountability.
FLDS.
Oh, what do we have here? Sins of the Amish reveals bombshell allegations of cyclical rape, incest, and physical abuse.
For some reason,
this is from 2022.
The more they cover up and the chicks don't dress up hot, the more there is of that. I don't know what it is, but there's some kind of a direct.
Well, I think it's because wherever you see women dressed like this, you're looking at a very patriarchal culture where men have absolute power and women have very little voice.
Well, there's
Kate,
also...
Kate, you want to say something? I can see you're dying to get in this.
No, do I want to say so? Of course not. What do you think? Do I want to say something?
You're staying out of this.
When I was in art school in Philly, when I had a bunch of friends in Pennsylvania, so they all grew up with Pennsylvania. We're Amish, Pennsylvania Deutsch, right? Yeah. And they were into... There was a whole seedy underbelly, especially cocaine busts. Any kind of drugs that help you build a barn fast, And I remember my first year down there, I'm watching the news, and they had this big Amish coke bust. And it was two guys, Abner Stoltzfus and Abner Stoltzfus, not related. There's like 5 guys named Abner Stoltzfus. Because also a lot of inbreeding with these. It's not just the...
I've got my own Amish stories if we get to it. All right, so here you got Sins of the Amish. Oh, you probably heard about this. Have you heard about this? Catholic Church child sexual abuse?
Oh.
I bet you've heard about that. And last I heard, these folks are not Jewish. Maybe some descendants from the Inquisition who converted hundreds of years ago, but mostly not Jewish. Mostly not of Jewish descent. Maybe you've heard about this because a lot of people mention Jeffrey Epstein, who undoubtedly was running a pedophilic sex trafficking ring. But hey, last I heard, Belgian nobility, usually not Jewish. Belgium pedophilia scandal. Did authorities cover up its scope? Oh, England, generally not the home of the Jewish people, particularly in the royal family. Look up the Westminster dossier, which implicates a lot of MPs and British aristocracy who are associated with Margaret Thatcher of having a pedophile ring. And Jimmy Savile, 5 senior BBC employees who knew about sexual predators but did not act. The BBC, last I heard, not a Jewish organization. Okay, so why is this important? Why did I spend this kind of time on this? Because I care very much about the ongoing genocide against the Palestinian people. And as a person of Jewish descent, I feel like I have a special responsibility to make it clear that being pro-Palestinian does not mean that you're anti-Semitic. What you do when a mattress and a broken high chair is enough for you to invoke a lot of stereotypes from the Middle Ages is you empower this fucking douchebag. This is Brendan O'Neill, chief political writer for Spiked, who had quite a lot of ammunition coming from people who made this connection and used it in a predictable way. The myth of Brooklyn's Jew tunnels. Why is so much of the West in the grip of anti-Semitic paranoia?
There were tunnels, though.
The moral kinship between old world loathing for Jews and the newfangled loathing for Israel has become crystal clear in recent weeks. Everything they once said about Jewish people, they now say about the Jewish state. Consumed by bloodlust, all-powerful and influential, keen on harming kids, uniquely murderous. It is flat out undeniable that today's fashionable ill will for Israel echoes yesterday's vile ill will for Jews. You see what he did there?
Talking about Palestinians.
Exactly. That classical anti-Semites, the kind referring to Brooklyn's Hasidics as rats that are likely raping kids, spy a moral advantage in wrapping themselves in the Palestinian flag, ought to give serious pause for thought to our anti-Israel elites. So if you want to help these people, don't parrot the talking points of these people. What? And that is one to grow on.
Well, that tunnel thing is so big. No, I don't know anybody that thought those Jews were the ones that are in charge of anything.
Look at the comment section on Jew Tunnel 1. Okay. There, Epstein, Weinstein. Have you ever heard of a guy named Bill Clinton? Like, what are you talking about? Like assaulting women is Jewish? Have you heard of Andrew Cuomo? Like, what are you even talking about?
Those tunnels could not have supported Harvey Weinstein. That's a lot.
He would never have made it through. Keaton, you have anything to add?
Jew Tunnel 1 was a big hit. Jew Tunnel 2 was going to be like the Tremors sequel, you know, with the tiny.
They've evolved.
With the tiny ones that walk above the ground.
You don't think we're gonna burn up the charts with Jew Tunnels 2?
No, I think this is like a straight to DVD sequel. I think Jew Tunnel 1. Jew Tunnel 1 was a big hit. That's actually of all the segments we did.
Last I saw, that was like $250,000 or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, are you talking about your Mole Men documentary?
My Mole Men one did very well.
That was the most anti-Semitic thing I've ever seen. Jews coming out of the ground.
Well, that's why.
Mole Men.
I bought myself a lot of credibility for the sequel with that one.
Yeah, Jew Tunnel 1 had all the production value. I felt like Jew Tunnel 2 was more narrative driven.
This was more of a think piece.
Yeah, exactly. We blew the effects budget on Jew Tunnel 1. we had no more budget for the CGI in Jew Tunnel 2. We had to take it in a different direction.
These were just outtakes with someone talking. All right, Misha.
Like The Sopranos season 4, you know.
Was that the dream one? Is that the dream one? I hated that one.
It was a dream, and that was the one where
where he's selling patio furniture and
yeah.
That was the dream one.
Come see us do a live stand-up show. We'll be in Venice, California, Palmdale, California, Omaha, Des Moines, Milwaukee, Lansing, Bend, Oregon, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, Boston, Massachusetts, and we're going to Europe. Do you live in Europe? We're going to be there. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets.